Hello, 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 hello. I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son, Owen, who is 13 and has autism. We paint together, working on his fine motor skills. He helps me paint the backgrounds of our paintings, and then I paint the rest. So I'm trying something a little bit different. That's like my new goal, is to keep kind of growing and trying some different types of looks and things, styles of way I'm doing something. And I'm trying to kind of, when I do like nature things, I'm trying to do a little bit more research per se of like how something kind of looks than just making it a quote unquote flower. So, you know, there's still like, I'm not necessarily kind of, I'm doing a lot of abstract flower, because, you know, I still don't have the perfect flower down, you know, to do it like that. But I'm learning to kind of change it up a little bit more and do some other options. So learn, grow, rinse, repeat. I thought this was going to be a stem, but it looked more like a leaf to me, so we're just going to embrace that. And I'm going to put one up here, kind of off to the center-ish. So we'll do a couple more leaves. Leaves, I always like to say that word. There's certain words that just fascinate my brain for some reason, and leaves is one of them. Milk is another one. If you say it like over milk, and I say it like that because it, again, is one of those words that just is very interesting to me. But you know, there you go. So I don't know how much this is going to look like. I can never say it right. Hydrangea. When I'm done, but we're gonna see what happens here. We're gonna see what happens. But that's kind of my goal. So, they're probably not big enough, and the leaves are probably not where they're supposed to be. But again, we're just kind of learning as we go. Mostly I'm doing this part so that I have like a more of a cover behind what I'm about to do next. So Owen had a pretty good day. I was up about 4 o'clock, which was too early, but you know, there you are. And Owen woke up closer to 5. It was a little after 4:30, or real close to 4:30. But he was awake, and I expertly, ignored his. He likes to make these like gagging responses, trying to get my attention. And so I've been trying not to respond to them, which in itself is kind of hard. But you know, uh, you've got to learn to block out stuff, even though it's very hard when your child is doing certain things. You know, you have to keep moving forward on this. But I was able to, again, somewhat block out what was happening. And he, it took a few minutes, but he didn't scream. So that, again, felt kind of like with the progress. And he was able to get back in his room. I don't know if he ever was actually in his bed, but he went back to his room, and we were able to, I would love to say go back to sleep, but we were at least able to get up closer to the 5 o'clock range. It was a few minutes after 5 when we went through our morning hellos. And he did really good when he first came in here. He said all the appropriate "good morning, mommy, how are you" kind of thing, which he doesn't normally do. So he's kind of learning to process that a little bit more, which makes me very happy. So he went through that. And by the way, I'm using some white and dark. It's a dark gray, just to kind of give it a little more shading as I move along. Because when it dries, I always say I love to watch paint dry. It'll kind of change the way it looks as it goes along. So, anyways, he said all the right things, and that, you know, made me happy about what he was doing. So we were able to kind of get through that, but I still wanted him to not take his tablet and go back to bed, and so he did it. He was able to process it and do what he was supposed to do. So that led to a good day with that start. And he met his new speech therapist today, and she could tell from, he had a speech therapist and she went on maternity leave, and they knew she wasn't coming back. She was going to stay home with her kids, and I don't blame her at all. But it's been about a year. It's everything blends together, but it's been about a year. And he finally, you know, got back into, he had speech at school, but not through his extra therapies. And so she read the previous therapist report, and she could definitely tell where he had grown and showed, you know, a lot of new skills and everything. And I attribute that to his great support staff and teacher, and she sends a lot of words home for us to work on and everything. So I feel like it was a wonderful thing to hear that he had been doing so good, and he was beyond thrilled to get back into speech. So once we did that, he was able to also have his other great therapy sessions there, and we just had kind of, I'm losing my track because I'm watching what I'm doing here. We had a pretty good afternoon. He had a few moments of stuff, but all in all, I think he did really good today. And again, kind of had his his moments, but honestly, who hasn't been having our moments right lately? Me, for one, have been having lots of moments. Um, so we came home and he did really well. We had, again, a few things, but in the long run, um, he's stressed out about summer, which makes me sad and stressed out as well, because he asks every few minutes, literally, when summer is over, even though he knows it. So we're working on different strategies to try to keep him from continuously repeating everything. And it takes a lot of effort from the mama to not answer every little detail with another detail or another part. So it's not always just easy peasy to stop the moving train. I feel like I want to make. I wish I'd made 2 instead of 3, only because this is either proportioned everything down and had 3, or only had 2. Only because I would have liked to have made a little bit more detail. I think at the end I was getting more where the petals, the flower petals, I guess that's looked a little more like the shape of it. And so I think I'll try it again and kind of see if I can do a little bit more with that. But I always sign O for Owen and then L and B, since he helps me with the background. And I don't want to keep adding too many layers, because like I said, I don't want to make it unproportioned. I don't even know if that's the right words. All my words feel like I'm not making any sense. But anyways, so I'm very, very happy that Owen's back in speech, and that he had, like I said, compared to yesterday, we had a fantastic day. And I pray that he sleeps tonight, and we can get through some more days of his vacation. So there we go. I'm just kind of going back through some of these little things, but I think every time I say that, I think we're done. I just want to come back in here and just add a little more shading. I shake a little tiny bit between my thyroid condition. I have Hashimoto's thyroid stuff. And if I could explain it, as I always tell, if I could, I would. I'm terrible at knowing if that's hyper and hypo and I know what I need to do with it, and that's the thing. So when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I did not want to know any more than I needed to know, because I can't process it all. I really just can't do the processing of all medical things. So I just told my doctor, tell me what I need to know, don't tell me the fluff and stuff. And one of my dearest friends is a mammotech / extraordinaire trainer, everything, manager, you got it, you name it. And I handed her my plate and said, please let me know what you, not that my doctor, I talk to her all the time, but, and her staff was wonderful, but I just gave my plate to my friend and said, if I'm missing something or not doing something, just let me know. So anyways, I think that's where we're going to leave it, because I could be playing with this all night, you see. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching and listening to our day. Have a great rest of yours. Toodles, toodles.